Good morning. Today, along with many other members of our community, I have the pleasure of interviewing Mary Carter. Mary has been an icon in our town, along with her late husband Wally Carter, and it's a great opportunity for new people in Mirboo North and families associated with the Carter family to understand a little bit about Mary in particular and the life that she has led in Mirboo North and what got her to Mirboo North in the first place. So welcome, Mary.
Thank you.
Okay, how you feel, all right?
Now a bit nervous.
Mary, I've never seen you nervous, so
I am.
let's see where we go. Mary, my understanding is you weren't born in Mirboo North, but you've lived most of your life in Mirboo North.
Yeah.
So where was Mary born? What was her first years like? And when did you perhaps come to Mirboo North?
Right. I was born at Jesse McPherson's in Melbourne. We lived at 27 Lynch Street in Footscray.
Right.
And my dad was a train driver. His run was Melbourne to Frankston. He was on the steamers, so I've always loved steam engines.
Oh, yeah,
Still
okay.
do today. Yeah. And he died very early from injuries and gassing during the First World War.
Right.
And then we were put into a convent virtually overnight.
Right.
Which
When
was
you say we, who was that
my
with?
two sisters. Teresa's older than me and Kathleen was younger.
Right.
And as I say, Dad was buried today sort of thing. And
Yep.
the next day we were in a convent.
Okay. And what was that convent like? And where was the convent?
It was Our Lady of Sign in Warrigal.
Yep.
There were over 300 boarders.
Right.
So it was very, very hard. The nuns were very, very good. You get the good and the bad, doesn't matter what it is. But the minute school shut down and the day students went home, or if any of the boarders went home, which 90% of them did, but there was 8 of us always that had to stay there with the nuns.
Right.
We had nowhere to go.
Okay.
Because Mum had, prior to Mum and Dad, prior to him passing away, they had bought the Archies Creek Hotel
Okay.
in conjunction with her mum and dad.
Right.
So this sort of happened before Dad died. And in the first 6 months of having the pub, she buried her mother, her Auntie Lizzie, and my father in the first 6 months of having the Archies Creek
It was
Hotel.
a tough time for your mum.
So it was very, very hard for Mum.
Right.
And that's where she met Ray.
Right.
Ray Retallick. He used to ride his old stock horse from Glen Forbes to Berries Creek. And he'd never married, he'd never had children. And where the Glen Forbes school I think it might be still there, is on the Retallick's property.
Right.
So his old horse Wanda, he'd get full at the pub a couple of times a week. So what they used to do, they used to strap him on the horse and she'd walk all the way home to Glen Forbes and tap on the gate until his father used to come out and get him off and put him to bed and put the horse away. And that's how Mum met Pop. I thought I'd put that in.
That's the first of the Uber drivers, wasn't it?
I never thought.
Self-directed Uber, old-fashioned.
Yeah,
tie
and
yourself to
so
horse.
that's how Mum. Yeah, I thought I'd tell you that because you'd have to know.
Yep.
And then she just sort of went from there. And when his annuity came through and his settlement money, he decided he would buy a dairy farm. So went looking and settled on Mirboo North,
Right.
which was Moyer's. Old Dr. Moyer's farm.
Okay, and what road was that on?
That's on the Berries Creek Road.
Berries Creek Road,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so he bought that and he built it up into a dairy farm because it was a beef. They were in beef.
Okay, so you settled in. Was your sisters with you?
No. They had to get me out of the convent because I was a bit of a tomboy.
Okay, all right.
And every time we played rounders, like it was the quadrangle had all, 2 and 3 story buildings, and we'd be playing rounders and I'd keep on smashing the windows.
Oh,
So I got to the stage where they asked Mum to take me out.
okay.
So that was when I was 11 and I came to school in Mirboo North.
Okay, so you're 11, you're living down on Berries Creek Road,
Road.
On a farm.
Yeah, used to ride the horse to school.
Okay, so tell me about those early days at school. You were 11 years old and you're just coming into a new school.
Oh yeah.
You didn't know anyone, I take it?
No one.
Okay.
It was, the only way I could say it was absolutely horrendous.
Right.
Because I went to school on the first day, or really for the first week, and all I had was my school uniform, which was, we had black stockings.
Yes.
And we had a tunic. You had a navy blue blouse and a clipped on round collar.
Yep.
And my hat. So that's how Mum took me to school.
Okay.
And as I got older, I never thanked her for that. Oh, it was, and she gave me to Margaret Wallace, or the headmaster, Mr. Trelaw, I think it was, the headmaster at the time, and he allocated me to 2 girls, Lynn Shields
Right.
and Margaret Wallace.
Okay.
And, Annette McVeigh rather, and Margaret Wallace. And Heather Glendenning. Glendennings used to live in Mirboo North too. And they gave me buggery. They really, really did. And I'd be going home. Right, after the first day I had to ride the horse, and I'd never ridden a horse.
Okay.
And luckily it was an old draft and she just plodded me into school and home.
So the first day you arrived at school on a draft horse?
No, with Mum and Dad.
With Mum and Dad?
Yeah.
But you had a horse to go home?
No. I rode the horse the next day.
Next day. Okay. So the second day you arrived horse with a draft horse?
Yeah.
Did other kids
Never,
ride horses?
Never ever been on a horse, ever.
Ever?
Yeah. I had been on an elephant at the zoo.
Yeah.
That was about it.
So how long did it take you to ride from home to school?
Well, I just used to walk, and she was old Katie was so bloody slow.
Right.
Looking back now, and a good half hour to get home, and then I'd have to strip and get the cows in for pop.
Okay, so you put on some work clothes and away you go.
Yeah. Well, I used to have me dress, or me outfit on for school.
Yes.
But I had, the old bib and brace overalls.
Yes, I do.
They were our working clothes.
Right.
So I used to have to put them on, and with me gum boots, because the roads were nothing like today.
Yep.
They were atrocious. They were full of potholes and ridges, and 9 out of 10 times you rode the horse off the road because it was so bloody bad.
Right.
Yeah, and then I'd change in the pony club yard.
Yes.
Which is that house up there on the corner opposite the high school.
Yes.
That's got that white fence.
Oh yes.
That was the pony club ground.
Okay, so it's northern side of the highway, opposite the oval, opposite the oval of the high secondary college there.
No, it's a little bit closer up to the White House.
So
the old type.
Okay, so that was a pony club there. So
that
you left the horse
pony
there
club
during the
ground.
day, went across the road to school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Always late.
I wonder why.
I used to cop it.
Yeah. Okay. So what was school like then, and how far did you go at school?
I went to Form 2 because Pop had been injured. He was a returned serviceman from the Egyptian campaign.
Right.
And both ankles had shrapnel in them.
Right.
That they'd got out a lot, and so he was pretty incapacitated after probably 12 months or so, and it got to the stage where he couldn't do a lot, so I had to leave school at 14
Okay, so
to help Mum on the farm.
Okay, so you left school at 14 and you helped Mum on the farm.
Yeah.
So that was virtually a full-time job for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're growing up. Was there any activities that you liked to be involved in, which was all for Mary? What was it? The farm's there, Mum's there, Pop's there, blah blah. But was there something that Mary liked to do?
Early on, no, because there was Mum and Pop weren't into. It was only the footy club.
Yep.
So Mum and Pop weren't into that.
Right.
They were into the RSL.
Right.
So anything to do with the RSL we went to. And then Mum got talking to a couple of ladies, so she ended up going on the committee for the footy club.
Right.
And that's how we got involved with the footy club.
Yes.
And she'd help with the cooking and doing a lot of the raffles and that. And that's how I got involved with basketball. It wasn't netball then, it was basketball.
Right.
And they only had one team, and I was only 14 at the time. And I fell in love with it, absolutely loved it. But I couldn't go in, you couldn't play because you weren't old enough.
Okay.
You weren't a senior.
Okay, so it was senior basketball.
There was only the one team.
And the one team of basketball was associated with the then football club.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
no, separate entities.
Separate entities. Okay.
And we had a dirt grass court, and every morning we all had to go and help mark it out, and then we got a little bit better, and we got a sand court.
Right.
So that meant we had to scratch all the dirt off the sand and then mark it again. And,
Yep.
And I was 16, I think, when I finally cracked it for the senior team. And then the net basketball just went ahead after that. Within 2 to 3 years, we had our second team, and it was, and then we started. Because you were following the footy, there was nothing like central courts or anything like that then. And we got to meet more and more people.
Right.
And then when the Central Gippsland Footy League split up, everybody was left in no man's land because there was only Mirboo North, Leongatha, Carnborough that were left. All those on this side of the hill, they dropped us off just so. Mirboo North, Leongatha, Carnborough played amongst themselves for I think for 2 seasons, and then they joined the Mid Gippsland League, and then the netball or basketball just sort of grew a little bit more with that side of it.
Right.
And then I think it was 60 years. Early on this year that we went to the anniversary of the Central Courts in Leongatha.
Right, yes.
And I was one of the founding
members of that.
Yeah, so I used to have a hell of a fight with Leongatha and us because they wouldn't travel.
Yes.
So I said, no, well, we're not travelling. If you're not going to bloody travel, neither are we.
Right.
So Berries Creek Hall was the halfway mark, so we had all our meetings there at the Berries Creek Hall.
Okay.
Yeah, and it just went from there. And the Shire here, we approached them about putting money into it.
Yes.
And they said, no, it's not it's Leongatha, that's not us. So we couldn't raise any money here in this area for that. Right. So we just, everywhere we went, we done raffles at the footy and got money together and passed it over to Leongatha for the Central Courts.
Okay, so the Central Courts at Leongatha, the basketball courts at Leongatha, where they are now, which is called the Splash Centre, I believe, or something like that.
Oh, geez, I don't know.
Anyway, the basketball centre, there's a number of courts there now.
Oh, yeah,
Beautiful
I think they've
courts.
got 6 there now.
Yeah, beautiful courts. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Mirboo North, you're playing sport, and I'm assuming that somewhere along that line you met Wally.
Yeah.
How did he court you?
He actually was going with my sister.
Oh,
He was going with Teresa. And I had to
Right.
be chaperone on the horse.
okay.
Teresa was into tennis,
Right.
and she used to go to tennis. And Mum would, right, Mary, she used to walk home from Mirboo North to the tennis, or they'd drop her up at Mr. McRowe's farm. You know where Lynn Skinner lived?
Yes.
That's Monroe's Road.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Right, well, Mr. and Mrs. Monroe used to have that farm there on the right as you turn.
Yep.
And I had to meet her there
Right.
and walk her home down through the paddocks and that.
Okay.
And and this was the year that we got connected with the power. So Teresa would have been, what is she, 2.5 years older than me, 15. So she would have been 18,
Right.
you know. And and Molly used to ride his bike home and walk home with her, and I had to be chaperone. I'd be sitting there on the horse,
So,
making everything was all right.
okay. And when you said you
And-
just got power, for those that aren't aware,
Yeah.
that's electricity for the first time.
Yeah, it was. I'm sorry.
No. So I just clarified something. So you were the chaperone
Yeah,
while he was going out with your elder sister,
yeah.
and somewhere along the track he stopped going out with your elder sister and started going out with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
He'd meet me at. He used to have in here. He used to have Wednesday night movies.
Yes.
The pictures.
Yes.
And the Saturday night.
In the hall here, at
this
town
used
hall
to be
here.
it.
Yeah.
If you look up on the thing, you'll see all the holes.
Yep.
Where it beamed down.
Yep.
And we used to meet at the front. I'd ride the horse in because Mum and Dad only had the one pretty little car, a little old prefect.
Yep.
First off, Pop had one of those old Fords that had the canvas tops.
I like the T model for
Yeah,
it.
the old T model Ford. He had one of those, and then they put that in for the little prefect, which couldn't even handle the hills. Half the time we had to push it up from the house up to the top of the road. Or get the horses out and pull her up. She weak. And so then that was where I used to meet him, here in front
Okay.
of the.
All right. So I
And
want
we
to
just
ask
went
you.
from there.
I want to ask you what your sister thought of you going out with Wally.
Oh, Teresa, by this time, she'd gone to Sale to the hospital. She'd done nursing.
Ah, okay.
So she was a live-in probationer
Okay.
up at the Sale
So
hospital.
they went separate ways, but he
Yeah.
sort of liked you a bit and
Yeah,
started
that went from there.
Went from there. Okay. So what was it like then? What was Mirboo North town like? Just so you and Wally had started dating. You were going to dances and so forth at functions. What was Mirboo North? What was it like? You told us how hard it was when you were 11.
Yeah.
Now you're older. You're 18 or 19 or whatever it was. What was that like then for you?
The community-wise was always good.
Yep.
Everyone was there for everyone else. And as we were growing up, the kids that you met at school in your group, they were your mates, and you'd go and spend weekends with them
Right.
occasionally.
Yep.
But as far as Mirboo North went, they were town kids and we were country kids.
Yep. Farm
Were
kids.
farmers' kids. So we never really intermingled with the town kids until we got a lot older.
Right.
And other than that, all us kids that rode horses, we all stuck together. And we always met somewhere and we always went riding. It didn't matter where, we'd be on our horses all day, every day,
Right.
at weekends and that. Or you'd stay the night there if you're going to be too late. Janice folks, her mum would get on the phone and ring mum and say, well, Mary and Janet have just got back. I'll feed them do you want them to stay the night? And Mum would just say, yeah, no worries, so long as she's there to get the cows in the morning.
Right.
Yeah, so that was a priority. Yeah, so yeah, many a time that happened with a lot of the kids.
All right, okay.
Yeah, but the town itself was, it's hard to believe now, but it was very, very, very busy. We had Tuesdays was Dairy Day, which they called Pig and Ladies Day.
Right.
Sorry, Thursday was Pig and Ladies Day, and Tuesdays every fortnight was the Cattle Day.
Right.
And Pig and Ladies Day, that's why they called it the ladies. All the ladies came in on Pig and Ladies.
Right.
And because it was a dairy sale.
Yes.
So they done their shopping every fortnight.
Yes.
So we got to meet everybody every fortnight.
So things are pretty planned.
Yeah.
You knew a fortnight out that you were going into town on that
Yeah.
Thursday for pickup.
Yeah.
So, all right. And Tuesday was...
No, it never went in on it.
Never went in on
No,
Tuesday.
that was Cattle Day.
Cattle Day, the blokes looked
Yeah,
after
you'd see
that.
Moyers bringing up their cattle
Right.
from our farmhouse. We're down there and the road's up there. And you'd see them bringing in the cattle because it was all drovers then.
Yes.
And bring the cattle in, their beef cattle in for sale. And then they'd ship them on the train down to Newmarket
Okay.
for sale.
Morwell and then Newmarket.
Yeah, yeah.
So can you, please, I'm really interested in just walking us through what a Pig and Ladies Day was like.
Oh,
From start to finish. Tell us about
Well,
what
okay,
happened.
so depending on what time, well, 9 out of 10 times, if Pop was selling the pigs or the calves, we'd be bringing them in on the road.
Yep.
And that was, we'd be down at the sales, but Mum would be up doing shopping.
Right.
So all the ladies, they would meet at the Blue Gum Cafe,
Right.
which was down on the corner opposite the kindergarten.
Yes, yes.
And so they would have lunch there, and all the men, they'd be at the sales. Sales would stop from 12 to 1, and in that time, that was lunchtime for the sales.
Yes.
So the fellas used to go across to the old club hotel, which was on the corner,
Yep.
and that was the working man's club.
Right.
The other one was the elite club, which is still there today.
Right. That's a commercial.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah,
the
that
commercial was elite and the club hotel was...
was the workers.
Okay, walk in with your gumboots.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah. It was a workers' pub, you know. And so they'd be in there and they'd have their lunch, and then they go back down to the sales. And all of us kids, I used to get 5 pence. That was my pay every fortnight, was 5 pence.
Yep.
And I'd go into old Mr. Tour's grocery store, which is where the lady that's got the Rupert's,
Yes,
that
yes.
was Tour's grocery store.
Right.
And I used to go and spend me 5 cents on a big packet, a brown paper bag full of broken biscuits,
Yes.
and sit on the gutter and eat them. And we all used to do it. There'd be about 20 odd kids along the gutter,
All with
eating
all with their
biscuits.
All with their 5 cents worth
Yeah,
on
that's all
today's
we ever
currency.
got.
And that was your pay. That was your pocket
our-
money.
That was our pocket money.
Pocket money. Okay.
Yeah.
What a terrific thing. So, all right. So time goes on. What did Mary do in career-wise? Did you stay on the farm? Did you go off and work for someone else, or what was it like?
No, well, I got to know through the basketball,
Yeah.
the older Snell girls,
Right.
and Tilly was one of them.
Right.
She would have been about 15 years older than me, and she was a supervisor with the PMG.
Right.
So she was talking to Mum one morning at Mass, because every Sunday we came into Mass, and she was talking to Mum at Mass, and she said to Mum, she said, "Oh, Mrs. Ritalik," she said, Do you think Mary might like to have a go? Come in on her own time on a Sunday after Mass and we'll teach her how to do the phone. Oh, Mum said, oh, I don't know. He said, she's a country girl. She's out in the paddock all day, every day with Ray. Oh, she said, I don't think that'll happen. So anyhow, Mum put it to Pop, and well, he said, Michael's getting bigger and he's stronger now. So he said, well, she can have a go if she wants to. And that was the beginning. And then out of the blue, and I used to go in no pay, just go in and learn it and see if I liked it. And then out of the blue, Mr. Christie rang up and said to Mum, I'd like to put Mary on full time at the PMG. Do you think you would let her, or do you think she would still be interested? So that was how I started.
Okay,
32 years down the track.
So where was PMG?
At the post office
At
here.
the post office here.
Yeah. We used to help sort the mail.
Yep.
And where the boxes are today.
Yes, yep.
And behind that there was a gap probably about that wide, and to put the mail in.
Yes.
And that was at the back of our exchange. The exchange then was right along there and along the other window and looking into the garden.
Yes.
And I think we had 200 and something odd, no, it was closer to 3, I think, subs at the time.
Right.
And it was all with little lights and plugs.
Yep.
Yeah, so, and we had party lines. We used to have a lot of fights with old Mrs. English's Corner.
Yes.
Up in the hills.
Yeah.
Used to have many a fight with her because she'd bloody come in on the Mirboo line and sit on the Mirboo line until she got all her calls through. And we'd have many a fight with her. And then we'd have fights with Morwell because we only had 2 trunk lines.
Yes.
So for Melbourne, we had to go Morwell to get a line to Melbourne.
Right.
And we had many a fight with them trying to get a bloody trunk line.
So I just want to paint this scenario. Okay. Communication is all about a telephone line that someone rang and you then plugged them in and tried to get them a line to Morwell, who would then try and get them a line to Melbourne. Is that it? Have I got it?
Yeah.
Okay. No wonder they invented mobiles. So all right. So how old were you then when
Unofficially I started 14.
Unofficially 14.
And then by the time I was 16, that's when I was full time.
You're full time.
I went full time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're 16. You moved away from chaperoning your sister with Wally Carter.
With Wal.
And then you knew Wally at that stage and all that.
And we got married when I was 19.
19.
Yeah.
So you had 3 years of courtship, so to speak.
Yeah, like I used to ring him up, or he'd ring me and say if shift work I was doing, and are you busy? And he hated the phone. I'd say, oh yeah, I'll ring him back. So I used to ring him back and I'd be talking to him, and then I'd get busy, and then he'd be sitting on the end of the line. He could have been sitting there for 20 minutes or more. and I'd go back, oh, he won't be there. Oh, are you there, Wal? Yes. Okay, I'll let you go because I said I'm flat out and I've got to do all my paperwork. And that's why he hated bloody he hated telephones till the day he died.
I have experienced that with Wally.
He had to hold.
So there you were at 19. Married here in Mirboo North?
Yeah, no, we got married in Leongatha.
In Leongatha,
yeah,
okay.
Catholic Church.
Catholic Church,
Yeah.
St Joseph's in Leongatha, right.
Yeah.
So, married, where was your first home with Wally? Where were you? Tell us about that era and what you were doing.
Well,
what it was like.
It was very hard because we had nothing. And we went and we stayed with Ron and Wal's older sister Val, out at Allenby South.
Right.
We had like a big room and a bit of the back veranda, and I used to help Val with all the cooking, and used to help Ron down at the dairy because they were dairy farmers, and we were there for I think nearly 2 years. And then in that time, Wal's father had died just before we got married, and Day sold the house up here in Mirboo North, just up the hill on that next street. It used to be Church Street, where the Catholic Church was.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, his mum and dad's house is the second one off the top end.
Right.
And Val and Ron built that first one on that corner opposite the school there.
Yes.
And then there was a vacant block, which was JP's, and then their house.
Okay.
Yeah. And so she sold that, and she bought the Blue Gum Cafe and started it up, had fruit and veggies there. So then we shifted from Allenby South into there to give Days a hand, and what money we had saved up towards our own home, and we put into the shop because Days looked like she might have been going to lose it. So we were there for about 3.5 years, and then Wal was still a builder, and he was actually building the hospital at the time.
Yes.
When his father died, and he finished it off.
Here in Mirboo North.
Yeah, the front of the hospital, the maternity ward at the very end.
Yes.
They built all of that section.
Right.
And they were doing that when his dad died.
Okay.
And then he took over the reins and just went from there.
Okay.
So he was, I say, he was still building, and I was used to help Days with the cooking, and it was a boarding house. We had, I think there were 10 rooms in the old building. So, and we used to do all their washing and all that sort of stuff. And Days used to run the kitchen, and it had a restaurant. So she'd do beautiful home cooked meals, and we were always busy. And then she got crook, and Wal said, no, he said, Mum, you can't do it anymore. She'd started up the very first fish and chip shop.
Right.
Was out of there.
Right.
And it was just like you cook at home, and we couldn't keep up with it. It was just every Friday, she'd do Friday night and Saturday fish and chips. Well, we just couldn't keep up with them. It was just impossible. And it got Days down to the stage where she just couldn't cope with it anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, so Wal said, right, it's time to sell.
All right. So.
Sorry, Joe.
Yep.
You've skipped over the honeymoon. I'd really like you to go talk about the honeymoon. If you could start off on that one, just with Mary and launching.
Mary, because we'll cut it back in later, okay?
Yeah.
Mary, you and Wally got married, St Joseph's Church, Leongatha.
Yeah.
You settled back in Mirboo North, but I'm assuming there must have been a honeymoon in there somewhere.
Oh yeah, we went up the top of the bloody, up to English's Corner and all that, because we had no money.
Yeah.
And Wal he had a ton truck, Bedford. So he built a little caravan on the back of that.
Yep.
So that's where we went up there. We had 3-day holiday, a 3-day
honeymoon.
And he'd shoot a bloody rabbit, and we'd cook it over the fire, and he'd go and get fish out of the creek, and we'd done all right. We ate well. But all we had was baked beans. Baked beans and eggs.
So you're on your honeymoon on the back of a Bedford truck.
Yeah.
Hunting and gathering your own food.
Yeah.
With tins of baked beans for substance. 3 days.
Yeah.
How many years were you married?
64.
Well, you must have loved it, Mary.
Oh yeah. Look, like every marriage, you have your up and downs, but we had more ups and downs.
Yeah, what a wonderful honeymoon story that was. So, okay, We'll get that. Let's now go on to, if it's okay with you, to talk about your early married lives, your children, and really what the town was to a young family.
The town itself was very, very orientated with family.
Yep.
Always has been, because we had the four churches,
Yep.
so they had community days, all of them.
Yep.
So you joined in all of that, and then you had your sport. If you didn't play sport or be involved in it in any way, shape or form, because there was no golf club then.
Right.
And so you just had the footy club, and everybody was involved in the footy club in every town,
Yes.
not just Mirboo North.
Right.
And it's what held the town together and still does today.
Yep.
Your footy clubs. And the things that they used to come up with, like whist nights, pie nights, and all that sort of thing, is what kept the town together, and also brought the money into your footy clubs.
Right.
So, but you'd have, different owners of the establishments. We used to always call them the establishment, the town.
Yep.
So, okay, you had Barney and Mrs. Grogan, the chemist. That was the grain store.
Yes.
Not a lot of grain, but basically the grocery store. And Mrs. Grogan had, on the other side, she had materials and wool and
Yep.
not quite haberdashery, but on those lines. Then you had Simo that had the newsagents. But Mr. and Mrs. Grogan, she was Swiss, a Swiss lady.
Right.
Because Barney, he was a prisoner of war and escaped through Switzerland.
Right.
And that's where he met
Yep.
his lovely wife. And I have to say this categorically, it is perfectly true. From the day we first met her as kids to the last time I ever saw her in her home, never ever saw her without her being completely made up and dressed up every day of her life. Really? She was an amazing lady, and I've never ever forgotten her. And Barney never ever saw her without her makeup on, and he used to tell all the fellas at the RSL, I don't know what my missus looks like. She's always dressed up. Yeah, so that was Barney. Simo, he was a great diver. Simpson, I can't remember his first name, but Simpsons, but we all called him Simo. And he owned the newsagents. And he was only a little fella. And geez, he could dive. And he taught me how to dive.
Right.
And he was a prolific smoker. You never ever saw him without a cigarette in his mouth. I can always remember that. If he didn't have a cigarette, he'd have a cigar in his mouth. It was one or the other. And he was well known for it. And I believe, coming from Pop, that he won quite a big medal during the war over in the New Guinea campaign.
Right.
So I never ever found out about it, but it would be in the archives at any rate, like a Military Cross or something like that. But he never ever spoke about it. Pop never ever spoke about it, but they all knew. And then you had, I'll never forget the first time that old Clary Foster arrived in Mirboo North. We were out the front, it was Pig and Ladies Day, that's how I remember it. And we were sitting in front of the commercial hotel now, on the gutter, and by the way, there was no bitumen roads, it was all sand roads.
Yep.
So the only bitumen road was from Berries Creek to Leongatha.
Right.
None up the top.
Right.
We had to go without. So he pulled up and we all wondered who it was, and old Mr. Tour came out. Oh, he said, "You children, I think you better get away from there because that's a new family coming into the town." And he said, "We don't want to have urchins standing around." And he was a funny old daddy, old Mr. Tour. So we had to scarper, but we only scarpered up as far as the next corner, the front of the pub.
Continue eating your biscuits.
Yeah. And he got out of the car, and to this day, he had the skinniest legs. He had the biggest army shorts that you would ever see on anybody, with these skinny sticks of legs sticking out of it. And his wife got it out of the other side of the car, and she was beautifully dressed. And that was how Clary Foster arrived in Mirboo North in his old T-model Ford. Right in front of who's there now? Oh, the op shop and that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how he arrived. And I've never, these shorts, they wouldn't be that bloody wide, his skinny little legs.
Now, Mary, over the time your children were born,
Yeah.
and you had many different little sort of jobs here in Mirboo North. Tell us about your involvement with the swimming pool.
Mum and Dad were quite involved in the swimming pool, but not only Mum and Dad, the whole town.
Right.
And every Sunday, when we first came here, it was only a hole. It was a hole in the ground. And that's how I remember swimming in it. And then they decided to get some money together and hit the Shire about making a decent swimming pool. And so that's when the whole town decided, right, they had to get X amount of money, but it wasn't near enough. So the whole town got together, all the associations in it, and every Sunday after all the churches had finished, we'd all have lunch down at the pool, and then the working bees, and the working bees would be finished by 3:30, so that everyone could go home to milk, because 99% were all dairy farmers at the time, and us kids, we got all the dirty jobs. So I had to bring in old Katie, one of our draft horses. I'd ride her in and have me church clothes underneath and have my overalls on the top, and I'd ride her in and drop her down. Someone was always there to look after the horses, because there were four of us kids with a bucket on and dug out the hole to get the tiles and all that, and the base. We dug out the hole with the horses and the buckets. And
Dragging the steel buckets.
Yeah.
Right, behind.
There was a David Shaw and me. I think one of the McCartan boys.
That was an outstanding voluntary exercise at such a young age in such a community.
Yeah, well, that's to say, it was the town's policy that basically, and it just evolved, just family. The same with getting the netball courts. We all worked on the netball courts.
Okay, let's
It was
talk
all
about
done by
that.
hand, and it was all done by us young kids, because we wanted to play, and there was no court. So we made our own virtually, and then we done the next one, and then we put the wire up. It was all voluntary. Yeah.
And then they turned into tennis courts as well.
Yeah. There was one tennis court then. Yeah. So no, as I say, every Sunday was the working bee for the pool. And then it just went from there, and it was under the auspices of the Shire. And then it got to the stage where they couldn't maintain it because they were running, weren't allocating the money, we found out years later. And they thought, right, well, we're going to employ somebody. And while being a builder, and at the time, things were pretty hard, really bad. And he wasn't, Mr. Moon, he nearly went broke. And Wal was thinking about pulling the pin, paying all his bills, our bills off. And then the Shire, Bill Byers,
Yes.
he was on the committee here at the Shire, and he rang up Wal and he said, Wal, he said, hey, he said, do you feel like having a job on the Shire? Builder. Oh, Wal said, yeah, I'll think about it. So yeah, come on, when he got off the phone, he told me, said, why don't you take it? It's steady money. And I said, you won't have to go chasing your money and to pay the bills. Yeah, bugger it, he said. What did he say? In for a penny, in for a pound. Yeah, bugger it, he said, I'll take it. So he rang up Bill. So that's how he got to be on the Shire as their builder.
Yes.
And then then they asked him would he like to, because he had started up here in the hall the boys youth club.
Yes.
Because the kids were getting out of control in the town. All the young lads, because they had nothing to go to. They only had footy, so they needed something to keep them occupied and keep them out of mischief. So he absolutely loved working with young kids and seeing them get better and better. So he decided, no bugger it. He said, Mary said, I'm going to start up a youth club. So he did. He was the one that got it up and going. And then Laurie Reynolds, Pat Reynolds' husband, he was a good boxer. He was from down on the peninsula. And so he taught them how to box. And as far as I don't know who took it over after a while, because the pool then, they asked him would he do the pool.
Yep.
Seeing as he'd been doing this with the young kids, you can handle the young ones okay. How about taking it on the pool?
Managing the pool.
Yeah, managing it. And it was nothing there. It was in a hell of a mess. And yeah, so he dug and he planted and he done all sorts of things down there. He absolutely loved the pool.
Yes.
And that's how so half the year he was at the pool, the other half the year he was their builder.
He was a Shire's builder.
Yeah, he was the Shire's builder.
Oh,
so
okay.
he rebuilt the Allenby South Bridge while he was working there. I went out and took out his lunch one day, and here he is in this hole in the bloody ground, all boarded up, and the water's running all around him. I said, what the hell are you doing down there? Christ, well, I said, get out of it. I said, there's water. Said, Mary, he said, I'm boxing it up. He said, it's got to go down that way and it's got to go down that way. So as I put the flame and bloody pylons in. Yeah.
Okay. So, Mary, during that time, your love of horses must have been maintained.
Yeah, from day one when I went on the farm.
Okay.
Absolutely fell in love with them.
Okay. So, can we go through your journey with horses? Is that all right?
Yeah.
Sort of, just give us an overview of the various things you've been active in your love of horses over what has been 50, 60 years.
Well, first off, it all started with the drafts.
Yep.
Pop had a team of drafts on the farm because we'd done all our work was with the horses on the farm. So, and we had the 3 riding horses. Well, Pop's old girl, she was the one that taught me everything because Pop had trained her. And then old Dobbin, he was such a plotter, he could walk quicker than what he could. And then my very first thoroughbred, which I got from Artie Moyer gave, an old thoroughbred. He gave Pop an old thoroughbred to use on the farm. So that was where I got my first love of thoroughbreds. Right. Absolutely loved them from that day. And then getting the cows in and all that, because it's all done with horses. Go right into school with them. So they've sort of been with me ever since I was 11. I've had horses ever since I was 11, and then the kids, when the kids come along, I used to do a lot of endurance riding, and because I could do that, get tea, particularly summertime, and do one of the horses. I used to have two of them, and do one horse at a time, and do me mileage, come home, strip him down, feed him, put him to bed, and then it was time to clean up and because I'd leave while with put the kids with their tea and that, and their pajamas and all that would be all ready. So I used to say, I'm off, and I used to drive out to the farm because they were still out at the farm. And then I'd do all that and then come home and then do a lot of work up there and get to bed about midnight, and then it'd all start all over again. And then I got in, then the kids, the two little ones, Lorinda and Janice, they started taking interest in it. So I put them up on old Blaze, the old fella. And from that day on, they loved the horses, so we bought them each as they got older. Lorinda got the first one, then we bought Janice hers. And then it come into Pony Club. So they were in Pony Club, both in Pony Club till they were 21. So we travelled a lot with the horses through Pony Club. And they were the best years of their lives. And it was just such an amazing experience. The places we travelled to do eventing and their endurance riding thing, and they've all said they had the best time as kids ever. So, and the thing was too, if I was at work, because by this time I was working over at Mall, if the kids weren't in the paddock and the horses were gone, knew they were out with the horses and the dogs. So he never had to worry about them. And so long as they were home before dusk, they could do whatever they liked. And as soon as they'd finished school, they were up on the horses. Oh, Tracy Hopcraft, you name them. The little girl Hooga Brugers, and stacks of them. They used to be on their horses all through the bush around here, all over Mirboo North. There were not just one or two. There were 4, 5 and 6 kids all hooting through the bush down around the pool and all that. So we never ever had to worry about them. And that's why Wal started up the boys, the youth club, because they just had nowhere to go and they were getting into strife. So, and he turned a lot of those kids around.
Yeah, he had a wonderful reputation.
He did. With young people, he was really, really good.
Even I can remember his voice over the microphone at the pool telling, stop jumping in the pool, and blah, blah.
Yeah, no, he was very, very good with them. And he had many a fight with his own son too. He had to bloody pull Craig into line a few times.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was a bit of a boisterous. He wanted things his way, and Wal said no. He said, you're under my roof, you're under mine and your mother's roof, and you do the right thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
You came to Mirboo North at an early age. You've given us that wonderful view of life as a young girl. You mentioned the war and people returning from war and the changes that they had in their own bodies and their thinking and life growing up here in Mirboo North. At the same time, there was activity in our region with a lot of Europeans coming in to regional Victoria, and the Italians primarily here in Mirboo North. And could you just you know, I'm sure you have relatively good knowledge of how all that happened and the vibrancy of the community with their coming across and settling in Mirboo North and district.
Well, it was mainly the Italians.
Yep.
They weren't very well accepted.
Right.
Because their it was like, well, today even, the culture, it comes back to that.
Yeah.
They stuck to themselves and they never ever incorporated any, well, it actually went both ways. Neither of them communicated like you should, like looking back you should have. So they went their way, we went our way. Then it all broke. I'd have to say that the thing that broke it down, hang on, getting back to their culture. Now, I was a young lady and I was working at the PMG and I would walk down the street past the pub, the working men's pub, and all the Italians would be sitting along the seats out the front. And you wouldn't get one, you'd get 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 pinches on the bum.
Right.
And that didn't go down well and there was a lot of women that were getting pinched on the bum.
Yep.
And at the time we didn't know, and it caused quite a bit of angst against the Italians.
Yep.
Because I'd go home and tell Pop what happened, or tell me boss. So he ended up walking across the other side of the road and leave them to him. And it got to the stage where it got really, really frisky, where the blokes were going to have it on. Now, I was about 16 at the time, and it got to the stage where the police actually, and this is coming from Mum and Pop, where the police actually had to be there on Pig and Ladies' Day. They had to be there to make sure that the Italians didn't do their pinching.
Behave themselves.
Yeah. So then they called a meeting. It was at the Catholic Church, and Mum and Pop went into the meeting about this, and it turns out that it was there, it came out at the meeting, and Mr. Adamo and a couple of the others that went, it came out that was their sign of affection. That was a sign that they really, really thought that lady looked lovely. And after that, bang, it was altogether different.
Right.
But they didn't do it anymore.
Yep.
They were told that, no, that's not our culture. That's your culture. So that's how it all came to a head. And then after that, things sort of really settled down. Okay. And Charlie Spiglio, he was the first, and this was another thing that broke it all up. He was the first Italian to play Aussie football.
Right.
For Mirboo North. And that really exonerated the whole, and after that, everybody got on well. There were the 2 instances that stood out
Don't pinch
in
bottoms.
my lifetime. But I tell you what, some of those bloody buggers that pinched on the bum, they hurt.
Okay.
They weren't bloody little pinches. Yeah, and I'd go home and tell Pop, I got bloody pinched on the bum today, Pop.
So
right.
Okay, so someone was telling a little white lies about it being in their culture to be allowed to pinch bottoms, but getting over that relaxed it, and they started to engage in sport and community. So the Italians came to Mirboo North, predominantly agricultural farming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they were allocated. Mr. Adamo was allocated. He had evidently he had, this is what came out years later. They had three choices. Because they wanted to get out of Italy because it was completely ruined after the war. And they wanted to start afresh. So they had England, Australia or America to choose from. So they picked Australia. And then they were given a state by the government.
Yep.
So they were allocated. Our Italians here are basically all from the northern part of Switzerland, Sicily.
Okay.
And so they were given, that section were given an area in South Gippsland to choose.
Right.
And the government would help them. And so they had a choice of going to different areas and then where they would like to settle. And Adamo picked Mirboo North.
Okay.
So that's
Basically, the
very
first family,
one.
first family coming in, and numerous families then followed.
Yep.
Okay. How was that arranged?
Through it, Mr. Adamo,
Right.
he would nominate them as he's their mentor, and he would put up the money to buy a farm, and then they would go on to that farm. They would pay Mr. Adamo back. Then they would bring out another family, and this is how it all eventuated. Yeah. Giardina's didn't come out till much later. Because the ones that were mainly here first were the Adamos, Smiglios and Bordonaros.
Right.
They were the first ones to actually, they were the main three families of the Italians. But then in saying that, there just wasn't one Smiglio or one Bordonaro. There were about 5 or 6 sons.
Yes.
You know, that
So
was
it was
a family.
extended family.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was, and it just grew from there.
Okay. So, and thank you for that. That's and we certainly in the history that we're trying to create, we will go down that path with the Italian community. So, there's Mary. Mary's raising the family, riding the horses. Okay. Married to the love of your life. He's doing all sorts of things, running the pool, building things for the Shire, running kids club. You mentioned very briefly the footy club, and I see that both Mary Carter and Wally Carter are life members.
Wally was, Mary wasn't.
Wasn't she?
Well, his mum was.
His mum was.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
His mum was. Not Mary.
No, Daisy.
Daisy. My apology. Can we do that again? Can we do that again? Okay.
Hang on. Okay, all right. Look at Mary.
Mary, I know that Daisy Carter and Wally Carter were life members of the football club.
Yeah.
How was the Carter family, in your eyes, actively involved in the footy club and sport? And you've mentioned the boxing and the youth club and the pool. So how it was a great part of your and Wally's life.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So,
Yeah, well, at the bad times, while virtually in between that no man's time between Central Gippsland closing them off and getting rid of them to mid Gippsland, there was 3 years that they had nowhere to go. So it was while basically, and that held it, because it would have gone, because no one was doing anything to try and save the club.
Yep.
So Wal said, we can't let it go. So that's he was the treasurer, he was the bloody president, he was the whole kit and caboodle, the groundsman, the lot. And Craig was 10, And Wal had him every Saturday morning, Craig's job, and he got 2 bob for it, 2 shillings, was to do the white line around the
okay.
oval.
Mark the
That
line.
was his job every Saturday morning. And Jackie and me, we had to get all the stuff ready for no canteen as it is today. It was just a bench, and nothing was hot because we didn't have bloody stoves or nothing then. So we had to do all the sandwiches. The ladies, we canvassed around the town. The ladies would come over and drop cakes off for afternoon tea, and oh, that's right, we used to use the big urn that they had from the RSL. Mum would go over and get that, or Days would get tea up someone to bring it over, and that was the hot water. It was no tea bags, it was tea.
Yep.
And we'd do the sandwiches there, and it was virtually our family for 3 years. Then Rumble Roberts came in and helped.
Yep.
Laurie Reynolds decided he better do something too. And yeah, so it was basically the 3 of them then that kept the Mirboo North Footy Club going in those bad years. You all
Excuse
right?
me. Yeah, I'm fine.
And then it just sort of, once they got into South Gippsland, well, it all come, Abbott from Melbourne, he bought a farm out of Ballara South there, at Ballara, on the Ballara Road, and he was the coach. And they brought up 2 Lynch boys from Footscray Footy Club.
Yep.
And there was a Laurie, I can't remember his surname, he was another one. There were 4 altogether that they brought up. They came up every Friday on the train and were picked up in Maul because we'd lost the flea by this time.
Yep.
And they'd pick them up in Maul, they'd come up and play footy, they'd do their training with the Footscray Footy Club, then they'd come up and play footy at the weekend here, and then they'd put them onto the train at night to go back to Melbourne on the Saturday night, or if they wanted to go down on the Sunday.
Oh.
A lot of them 9 out of 10 times would stay and have the big, we used to have chop nights and everything.
Fantastic.
The boys used to go out. It was funny because we went up to Peter Edney, he was one of Wal's best mates on the footy team. And they'd have there was only about 6 of them on the committee at this time. And they'd say, right, we're going to have a chop night. And of course, none of us had any money. So they used to go out and bandicoot a sheep.
I think we'll leave that one alone. So sheep went missing and suddenly the football club had chops. Is that it?
We used to do that with the onions and the spuds too.
That might have to get cut.
Joe, can you move into that last phase, which is Mary's, we're just running sort of
Yeah.
out of
So the last,
yeah, we've covered it, everything and more.
possibly.
So
Yeah.
it's just sensational.
Okay.
Right.
All right, Mary.
You're going well, Mary.
Excuse me. Okay, good. Mary, you've painted a really wonderful picture of Mirboo North and, your involvement, the Carter family involvement in that. How the town has obviously moved and changed.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you see as some of the advantages now of Mirboo North? What it has to offer? And what advice would you give the community going forward?
Oh, that's a hard one to answer. It's changed dramatically the thing that I have noticed over these last few years now, and you two probably have too as well, I don't feel that the community aspect is as genuine as what it was back in my time growing up as a child and later on. I feel as if it's, how can I say it? It's a cosmopolitan community now.
Yep.
Where it was generations of families.
Yes.
Which Docker can.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
And you probably will too. And that made a big difference to the farms around. And that's my opinion.
Yep.
And that's what I think we've lost, because it's changing hands and the town has changed enormously. It's not the town I grew up in. All my kids.
Yeah.
I feel it's sort of like it's all about me.
Right.
Not as in it's all about the town.
Right.
That's the feeling that I get. But in saying that, we've got very good businesses here, and I'd hate to see them go.
Yep.
And the pub, hated that pub until the other one went. and there, look, they've done a great job, and John has up at the restaurant. Yeah. So I'd hate to see it like, how can I say it? Like bloody Inverloch. Right. Inverloch used to be a great place to go to. Fabulous. But now it's inundated. And I really would hate to see Mirboo North get inundated.
Right.
Yeah, and lose that lovely connection that we have got a connection here, but it's just, I suppose you could say, it's different to when I was growing up or when my kids were growing up. And I'm coming back to probably the drugs.
Yep.
Yeah, that's killed a lot of towns. And we're very, very lucky that we live where we are and that it could be underground, I don't know. But our kids can go to school and not have any outside, interference.
Okay, yeah, I've
with that.
got that.
Yeah.
So, by royal decree, I am going to make you the mayor of Mirboo North for one day.
No, you're not.
And Mary, as the mayor, you have one big decision available to you.
Yeah.
One thing that you would do if Mary Carter was mayor for a day and you could do something that you wanted to do for Mirboo North, what would it be?
Oh. Oh, geez, I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, one thing, and we fought it like hell, would be to make our pool, our 55-metre pool again.
Okay, so the current pool is how long?
It's only 25 metres, isn't it?
Is it? Okay.
They cut it down.
And put a baby's pool and all that at the end.
Yeah, we only had the two pools.
Yep.
The baby pool was brought and put in later. But that was a bad decision, and that came down to one person on the committee at the time.
At the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
And everybody's held it against him from that day to this, that all know about it.
But
yeah, because we fought like hell to keep that at 55 metres.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So your view would
See,
be...
that's another thing. People don't realise that we had the Olympics up here, 56.
Yeah, 56, Olympics
In
in Melbourne.
1956 in Melbourne.
Yep.
Well, 2 months before that, we had the Olympic diving pool team here diving off at the Mirboo North swimming pool.
Really?
Yeah, that'll be in the archives somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
And there was one of the divers, he was only a little fella, and they used to call him Little Titch. So if there's anything in the archives that they can find, one of the divers was called Little Titch.
Okay.
Yeah. And we had the 3 metre diving board there at the time.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. And they were beautiful divers. Oh, God. And I think the whole district and more than the district was there to see them.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just great.
What a wonderful
Yeah.
thing. So,
Yeah.
okay, Mary,
But that'd be something that, well, you couldn't, oh, well, I suppose you could still do it, but it was something that we fought hard to keep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now,
And our railway line.
yes, and our railway line.
Yeah.
So if you're mayor for a day,
Oh, yeah.
you bring back the railway line.
Oh, my bloody oath. I'll
Okay.
bring it back tomorrow.
Imagine having a Puff and Billy come up.
Well, we
Tourists.
did put in all of us that pushed. A lot of us pushed it. We didn't want to lose it, and to keep the line, not to lift it, to keep it as a, and later on in years down the track, have it as a tourist line,
Yep.
because you could do it from Yannar.
Yep.
And they said no, because the open cut's taken the line away. But what's stopping them from going around like they did with the road? Yeah.
If they want to, they can.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, we fought like hell to keep that railway line going.
So the pool I'm not sure about because it's just had a marvellous upgrade. It's supported by the
Oh, yeah, I
community
know.
and supported by
As I
the
say, you
Community
couldn't do it.
Foundation so, and the Bendigo Bank and many others.
Yeah.
So that's locked in and that's beautiful. But the railway line, let's do something about tourism. And so I think, Mary, I'm going...
It was just a bad day when they bloody well closed that.
All right, I'm going to leave the interview now.
Yeah.
And can I say, just on behalf of Mirboo North community and Mirboo North Historical Society, can I thank you very much for giving us your time. And
Oh,
what a wonderful insight that you've been able to provide.